You know that feeling, right? You're sitting at your desk, and you just finished writing an email in English.
Oh, the classic email panic.
Exactly. Your fingers just hovering right over the send button. And suddenly, like a cold panic sets in. You look at the screen, you read your own words again, and all these doubts start rushing into your head.
Right.
You think, is my grammar completely wrong? Do I sound rude? Is my boss going to totally misunderstand me? It's just a horrible feeling.
It really is. And, it's a very universal moment of stress for anyone learning English, because when we communicate in a second language, especially in writing, we lose all our natural safety nets.
Safety nets? Like, what do you mean?
Well, we lose the safety of a warm smile or a friendly tone of voice. We don't have simple hand gestures to help us explain.
Oh, right. Yeah, that makes sense.
We just have these black and white words on the screen, and that can feel very dangerous.
It feels incredibly dangerous. But here's the secret we are looking at today. For you listening, communicating in a second language through writing is actually much easier than speaking it.
It definitely is.
We have a great source today. It's a comprehensive guide to mastering beginner-level English emails. And our mission for this deep dive is to take that stressful, scary task of writing an email and, transform it into a simple copy and paste formula.
That's right, because you actually have a superpower when you write an email, a superpower that you just don't have when you speak.
A superpower. I like the sound of that. What is it?
That superpower is time. Think about it. When you speak to someone in the hallway at work, you have to react instantly, right?
Yeah, you put right on the spot.
Exactly. You have to find the correct English vocabulary right away. But when you write, you have the luxury of time. You can stop, you can take a breath, you can think.
You could open a dictionary if you need to.
Yes, you can build your sentences slowly and carefully.
Okay, let's unpack this. I want you, the listener, to think about it this way. Writing an English email is not like painting a beautiful masterpiece.
No, definitely not.
You don't need to be this brilliant artist starting with a totally blank canvas trying to invent the perfect colors. It's much more like building with toy blocks.
I love that. Toy blocks.
Yeah, like you don't have to cut the wood or create the blocks yourself. You just need to have a box of the right pre-made blocks, and then you just stack them together in the right order to build your message.
That image of the toy blocks fits my core belief about workplace communication perfectly. Because clear communication in the workplace is almost never about using complex vocabulary or, perfect advanced grammar.
Right. You don't need to sound like a Shakespeare play.
Exactly. It's not about showing off big words. It's simply about giving the reader a clear structure and really showing respect for their time. If you arrange your blocks correctly, the message is always successful.
So let's start building our first blocks. And we usually begin our journey of empathy and trust before the email is even opened.
We do.
Because the very first interaction you have with the reader is when your message arrives in their inbox. Which brings us to the subject line and the greeting.
Yes, the subject line. This is the title of your email. And our source really emphasizes that your subject line must be short. And it must be very clear about what is inside the email.
And there is a big danger here that people fall into, right? Especially when they are in a hurry or maybe feeling shy about their English.
Oh, definitely. They leave the subject line completely blank.
Which is so common. But our guide gives us some really excellent specific examples of how to fix this. For example, if you are sick, don't just leave the line blank or write hello.
Right. Hello doesn't help anyone.
No. You use a specific phrase like sick leave followed by your name or missing work today. If you are applying for a job, you write job application and then sales manager.
Or if you need information from a colleague, you just write question about Tuesday's meeting. These short phrases do a lot of heavy lifting for you.
They really do.
They tell the reader exactly what to expect before they even click to open the message.
Let me push back on this a little bit, though, because I have definitely sent emails with blank subject lines when I was rushing.
We all have.
Right. So is a blank subject line really that bad? Are we just overthinking a small detail here? Because, eventually they are going to open the email anyway, right? Why does it matter so much?
What's fascinating here is the psychology of the modern workplace inbox. You have to imagine the other person.
Okay, I'm imagining them.
Imagine you are at work on a busy Monday morning. You open your computer, you have a coffee in your hand, and you see 50 new emails waiting for you.
Just hearing that makes me stressed.
Exactly. Your brain is trying to organize all of them. So a blank subject line creates instant anxiety for the reader. They don't know if it's a major emergency from the boss, or a quick question from a friend, or maybe just junk mail.
Oh, I see. It kind of breaks their concentration.
It absolutely does. By writing a clear subject line, you reduce their cognitive load, you lower their stress. You are essentially helping them organize their busy day, which is a massive sign of respect.
That is a really great way to look at it. A clear subject line is an act of empathy. It's like self-preservation for the reader.
Yes, beautifully said.
Okay, so we respected their time, they feel calm, and they finally click the email. The next piece of the puzzle is establishing the tone of your relationship. And that's the greeting.
Right. The hello.
Yeah. How do you say hello without sounding too stiff or too casual?
Well, the greeting block you choose depends entirely on formality, and it signals to the reader that you understand your professional relationship.
So how do we choose?
If you are writing to someone formal, like a new client or a senior manager or someone you have never met, you use the word dear. For example, Dear Mr. Miller or Dear Miss Jones.
Okay, so dear is for formal situations.
Exactly. But if you are writing to a colleague you see every day or a work friend, dear is way too formal. It sounds strange. Instead, you just use Hi, Sarah, or Hello, team.
It's a really small choice, but it sets the whole foundation. I like to think of using dear as like putting on a suit and tie for a meeting.
Oh, that's a good comparison.
Yeah, it shows high respect, but it's a bit rigid. Using hi is like wearing a comfortable, clean sweater. It's professional, but it's warm and accessible. I always used to freeze up at the greeting, but thinking of it as choosing between a suit and a sweater helps a lot.
That's a great mental trick. And once you choose your greeting, you have established the tone. But, you can't just jump immediately into demanding things from the other person.
Oh, definitely not. Because if you just say, Dear Mr. Miller, send me the file, you sound like a demanding robot.
Yes, you do.
You have opened the door, but now you need a polite transition.
In English business culture, we use what the guide calls a friendly opening. It acts as a social buffer.
Give me an example of a good buffer block.
A very common block to use here is, I hope you are having a good week. Or simply, I hope you are doing well.
I know in some cultures, getting straight to the point is considered the most polite thing to do because it saves time. But in English, if you skip this friendly opening, the email feels very cold, doesn't it?
It really does. It feels almost aggressive. Even if it's just one short sentence, taking a moment to wish them a good week softens the whole interaction.
Right. It reminds both of you that there are actual human beings on both sides of the screen.
Exactly. And if they sent you an email first, you don't need to hope they're having a good week. You can use a different block. You can say, thank you for your quick reply, or it was nice to hear from you.
Okay, so we gave them a friendly smile.
Yeah.
We are being polite. But we still have a job to do, right?
We do.
We have to transition from the tone to the actual task. We have to state our purpose. Like, why are we writing this email? The source gives us a wonderful, simple block to connect our greeting to our goal. And that is, I am writing to.
It's a highly effective formula because it completely removes all confusion. You just say, I am writing to ask a question.
Or, I am writing to give you an update.
Right. Or maybe, I am writing to confirm our meeting on Thursday. You take your friendly opening and you connect it directly to your clear purpose. The reader knows exactly what is happening by the second sentence.
Now we are moving into the real core of the email. Often, we write emails because we need something from the other person, right? We need them to send us a document, or we need them to answer a question.
Yes, the request.
And the source talks about the magic keys of requests. I love this part.
This is a crucial lesson in English communication mechanics, especially for learners. When you ask someone to do work for you, you must manage the power dynamic carefully.
Right, you can't just be bossy.
No, you should never use a direct command like, give me the file. That is far too strong. Instead, you use the magic keys. These are conditional phrases like, could you please, or I would like to.
I love thinking about the difference here. Imagine sitting at your desk and reading the sentence. Give me the file.
It hurts a little bit to hear.
It does. It feels like a verbal punch. It's aggressive, and your natural human reaction is to be defensive. But using the block, could you please send me the report, is completely different.
It changes everything.
It's like opening a door for someone and politely asking them to walk through it. It gets you to the exact same place. You still get the file you need, but everyone feels much better about the interaction.
That is a perfect analogy. And you might wonder, why does English rely so heavily on these words? Why are please and thank you so necessary?
Yeah, is it just about being nice?
It's not just about trying to be a nice person. It is actually a functional tool to soften power dynamics and create cooperation.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Even if you are the boss and you have the power to order someone around using, "Could you please help me with this task?" makes the employee feel respected. It feels like a choice rather than a harsh demand.
And when people feel respected, they naturally want to work harder for you.
Exactly.
The guide also gives us another great phrase for asking for a response, which is let me know. Instead of saying, tell me your answer right now, you write, please let me know.
Yes.
For example, please let me know if you are free on Tuesday. It feels like a gentle invitation, not a strict command.
Yes, "let me know" is a classic phrase because it gives the reader a feeling of control. It essentially says, "I am waiting for your answer, but I respect your schedule."
So we've mastered asking for what we need. We are using our magic keys, but communication is a two-way street.
Right.
Sometimes you aren't asking for a file, you need to give them a file. And delivering materials, or worse, delivering bad news, requires a completely different set of tools. Let's talk about providing materials first.
Okay, this brings us to managing attachments. We have all made the classic embarrassing mistake of writing an email saying we are sending a file and then forgetting to actually attach the document before hitting send.
Oh, I do that at least once a month.
We all do. But even if you remember the file, you have to tell the reader it is there.
Exactly. You can't just attach a file silently and hope they notice the little paperclip icon. You need a specific block to point to it.
Right.
Our guide suggests using the formal phrase, please find attached. This tells the reader exactly where to look. You can say, please find attached the project file, or please find attached the monthly invoice.
And, the modern workplace uses a lot of cloud storage now. So if you are not attaching a physical file to the email, but sending them to a website or a shared folder, you can use a different block.
That's a good block for that.
You can say, here is the link to the document, and then guide them on what to do next. You can add, please take a look and let me know your thoughts.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for me. Sending a file is easy, but what if you have to deliver bad news?
Ah, yes.
The bad news. Giving someone bad news in your native language is already deeply uncomfortable. Doing it in a second language, that is terrifying.
It really is.
You might have to say no to a project or tell a colleague you're simply too busy to help them.
It is scary, but our source has a very specific structural strategy for this. In English, we use what we call soft words to deliver bad news kindly. We don't just say no.
Never just no.
Right. We often start the negative sentence with words like unfortunately, or phrases like I'm afraid.
This is such a brilliant trick. Instead of just delivering a hard, I won't come to the meeting, you use a soft word block. You say, unfortunately, I am busy on Monday. Or, I'm afraid I cannot help with this project right now.
Exactly.
I like to think of these soft words like bubble wrap. You know when you mail a Fraggle glass cup in a box, you wrap it in soft plastic bubble wrap so it doesn't break during shipping?
Yes, to protect it.
Right. Words like, unfortunately, and I'm afraid, act like bubble wrap for your bad news. The reader still gets the no, but the soft words protect their feelings. It removes the shock.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, using these soft words is a major part of building professional trust over time. Well, think about a scenario where a manager asks you a difficult question and you simply don't know the answer. You could panic and ignore the email, or you could pretend you know the answer and just guess.
Both bad options.
Very bad. But the most professional, trustworthy thing to do is to be honest, but soft. You can write, I'm not sure, but I will check and get back to you.
It shows that you are honest about your limits, but you are still actively trying to help.
Exactly. The same rule applies to handling your own mistakes. If you do something wrong, the instinct is to hide it or make excuses. But the guide says use a clear, honest block, like, I apologize for the error, or more casually, sorry, my mistake, I will fix it immediately.
Owning your mistakes quickly and politely actually builds much more trust with your colleagues than trying to pretend you are a perfect employee.
It really does. It shows you are reliable, accountable, and mature.
So let's look at what we have built so far. We've greeted them warmly, stated our purpose, used our magic keys to ask for things, and handled any attachments or bad news with our bubble wrap words. The main part of the email is done.
We're almost there.
Yeah, the only thing left to do is to gracefully exit the conversation.
Right. You don't want to just stop typing and leave. That feels really abrupt. This brings us to the final blocks of our email puzzle, the closings.
The goodbye.
Yes. Before you type your name at the very bottom, you need a closing sentence. This is usually a polite wish for the person or an indication that you are looking forward to the future of the project.
A very standard, highly professional block that everyone should have in their box of toys is, "I look forward to hearing from you."
Yes, a very good one.
This simply means you are waiting for them to reply, but it sounds positive and eager.
It's a classic phrase for a reason. It is universally understood and very effective. But if your email doesn't require any reply at all, maybe you were just sending that invoice. You can use friendly wishes to close the door.
Like what?
You can write, "Have a great day," or if it is Friday, "Have a lovely weekend."
And then, the very last, block the sign-off. Just like the greeting at the top, this choice depends entirely on formality. If the email is to a formal client or a senior boss like Mr. Miller, what blocks do we use?
For a formal email, you use "best regards," or "sincerely," or "kind regards," and then you put your name on the next line. These are the suit and tie sign-offs.
And if it's a casual email, say to that team member you work with every single day, we use "Hi, Sarah" at the beginning.
Then you can completely relax the language. You can use shorter blocks like "best" or "thanks again" or even "cheers" followed by your name. Those are your comfortable sweater sign-offs.
Nice.
And it's very natural for an email relationship to start with "sincerely" in the first few emails and then transition to "best" as you get to know the person better.
It really is amazing how simple the whole process is when you stop looking at an email as a giant blank page and start looking at it as just stacking these individual blocks.
It takes so much pressure off.
It really does. Let's actually walk through the full sample email from our source to hear how it sounds. Imagine you are writing to your boss, Mr. Brown. You want to ask for a short meeting. Let's listen to how the blocks stack together to build a perfect, professional message.
Okay, we start before the email is opened with a clear subject line to respect his time. Meeting request. Then, because he is the boss, the formal greeting. "Dear Mr. Brown."
Then we add our friendly opening block to act as a social buffer. "I hope you are having a good week." Then we immediately state the purpose. "I am writing to ask for a short meeting to discuss my new project."
Next is our polite request, using the magic keys so we don't sound demanding. "Please let me know when you are free." And finally, a formal sign-off to match the greeting. "Best regards," followed by your name.
It is incredibly clean. It's polite, it's easy to read, and it has zero complex grammar or difficult vocabulary. I want you, the listener, to practice this actively.
Yes, practice makes it permanent.
Next time you sit at your computer, think about these specific scenarios. If you wanted to say hello politely at the start of an email, you don't need to invent a new sentence. You just reach into your box and use the block. "I hope you are doing well."
And if you need to point out that you attached a document, you don't need to struggle with the translation. You just use the standard block. "Please find attached the document."
And if you want to finish the email gracefully and wait for their answer, you type, "I look forward to hearing from you."
It is so important to remember that true language fluency is not just about memorizing a massive list of difficult vocabulary words or studying complex grammar rules.
Definitely not.
True fluency, especially in a professional setting, is about internalizing these simple, proven patterns. You practice using these specific blocks over and over until they feel completely natural to you.
So what does this all mean for you? It means that writing a perfect, highly professional English email does not require you to have native-level fluency. It doesn't require you to be a creative genius.
It simply requires knowing how to use the right structural tools. You need a clear subject line to reduce the reader's anxiety. You need to use polite magic keys like "could you please" to create a cooperative environment. And you need to use soft, bubble wrap words like "unfortunately" to handle bad news kindly.
It's just a copy and paste formula. You take advantage of your superpower, which is having the time to think, and you just stack the blocks together.
But I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over today. We very often think of language learning as just a mechanical way to share information.
Right, data transfer.
Yes, like it's just a tool to get a file, to answer a question, or to book a meeting room. But what if these simple email formulas, these very specific, careful ways of softening bad news and politely asking for help are actually something much bigger?
What do you mean?
What if they are the secret architecture for building deeper empathy and trust across completely different cultures?
Wow, that really changes how you look at a simple please and thank you.
Yeah.
By choosing to use these polite blocks, you aren't just sending data. You are actively building a bridge to another human being.
Exactly. You are showing them that You respect their time, you respect their workload, and you care about their feelings, even from thousands of miles away through a computer screen.
That is powerful. So the next time you finish writing an English email and your finger is hovering over that send button, don't panic.
Just breathe.
Take a deep breath.
Yeah.
Remember, you don't have to paint a masterpiece. You just have to stack your toy blocks. And you now have exactly the right blocks to build something great. Keep practicing those patterns and trust the structure.